This section of timber will be used to demonstrate the process of removing a rotten or damaged portion of timber and replacing it with a new section. For this demonstration, the large knot shown here will be replaced with a sound piece of timber dovetailed into position. The dovetail ensures a tight fit between the new and existing timber and also provides a larger glue surface area. Use a tri-square and sliding bevel to mark out the required dovetail angle. It's common practice to use a ratio of 1:6 for dovetails in softwood and a shallower angle of 1:8 in hardwoods. The sliding bevel can now be used to transfer this angle around the damaged area on 3 sides of the timber. Care should be taken at this stage to ensure that the area being marked out is shaped in such a way that the new section will lock into position. Adjust a marking gauge to indicate the depth of the damaged area to be removed. This depth should be slightly less than the thickness of the replacement section of timber. This will prevent the new section of timber being cut too deep below the surface of the existing timber. Transfer this dimension onto the existing section of timber along both edges. The damaged area is now ready to be removed. Secure the section of timber in a vise and use a tenon saw to cut just inside of the pencil marking outlines. Continue sawing along these lines down to the horizontal gauge lines on both sides of the timber. Repeat this process on both sides of the damaged area. If a series of saw cuts are produced across the damaged area, this will aid the removal of the waste whilst reducing the likelihood of splitting. The damaged area should be removed with a sharp bevel-edged chisel. Hold the chisel just below the top of the timber, slightly angled upwards, and strike it with a mallet until a small quantity is removed. Repeat this process of removing small sections at a time on one side of the damaged timber down to the gauge line. Turn the timber around and repeat this process on the other side. Once the required depth has been achieved on both sides of the timber, the high spot in the middle of the joint can be removed by paring across the timber. This process should continue until the dovetailed housing is perfectly flat. The base of the joint can be inspected with the use of a tri-square and by rubbing a soft pencil over the back of the blade and moving this over the surface of the joint. Any high spots across the joint will be indicated with pencil marks and should be carefully removed with a sharp chisel. The area across the narrowest width of the dovetail should now be established before transferring them onto a replacement piece of timber slightly wider than that required for the completed job. The same setting on the sliding bevel can now be used to transfer the dovetail around all four sides of the section of timber, before using a tenon saw to remove the waste material. Offer the new dovetail section of timber into the housing for a dry fit, whilst checking for any significant gaps. To ensure perfect fit, a fine-toothed saw can be used to cut along the line of the joints to eliminate any minor gaps. Once a tight fitting joint has been achieved, the replacement section should be removed before applying a good quality timber adhesive. The dovetail section can now be inserted into the housing and firmly knocked into place. Use a damp cloth to remove any excess glue before removing the waste material with a sharp chisel and block plane to complete the repair of the damaged timber.